Hi, this is Tim from Herberger Online. I've seen a lot of questions lately about how faculty are going to choose what students are going to be coming into campus, what students are going to be coming to class, what students are going to be joining remotely, in a couple different channels in Slack and different webinars and things like that. So I wanted to talk today about one way that you might consider using the calendar tool in Canvas in order to manage your classroom attendance and kind of get some information, but at the same time giving your students a little bit of agency and choice in the way that they're choosing to engage in your class sessions. It seems to me, from what I've seen from different leadership, that a large part of ASU Sync is this idea of enabling students to make a choice and to engage in the way that works best for them. This idea of flexibility and dealing with changing circumstances. So even some of those ideas about using student ID numbers or last names to develop a rotation still doesn't address the various situations that students might be in. There might be some students that can't come to campus ever. There might be some students that for whatever reason would like or benefit from coming every time. So I think there's some value in using what tools we have available to give some agency and to give some choice. In the calendar tool in Canvas, the calendar tool is over here on the left. It's the global navigation area here. You can see there's a calendar that shows all your different courses. If you come up to the plus button, which is called Create a New Event, one of the events that you can create in your Canvas calendar is an appointment group. Now, normally appointment groups are made so that students can sign up for a consultation or maybe a class presentation or different things like that, where you want students to sign up at different times throughout the day or throughout a period of time. But we could use this also as a way for students to sign up for reserving a seat, essentially. Think of it like Open Table, like a reservation tool that you might use for a restaurant. So we need to give a name, and that name could be however you decide to name your different class sessions. I'm going to call this one Tuesday, week 2. Give the location for your classroom. Choose which calendar this gets assigned to. These are your different courses. So make sure that you're assigning the correct class session to the correct course. I'll choose my HOL Professional Development Community there. Now, like I said, this tool is built to divide time up. But since we might want to use the entire time, I'm just going to put in the entire time of the class. So let's just pretend that your class goes from 1 p.m. To 2 p.m. We're not going to divide that up, so we don't need to do anything there. And we're going to limit each time slot, we only have one time slot at this point, to the maximum number of students that you want to show up at one time. So again, ASU has given us the number of operating at 50% capacity. So if your classroom usually handles 100 students, then you're going to be limited to 50 students. So we're just going to go ahead and put 50 students in this field. You can choose whether you want students to see who else has signed up. Maybe there might be some value there. Maybe it might be important for them to know if their roommate is planning to go, and if they would like to go with them, or if a certain student that they like studying with is scheduled to go. Again, that's probably just a personal preference. You can decide whether there's value in seeing that information. And then at this point, there's no point in limiting students from signing up twice. They wouldn't need to sign up for twice. So I don't think you need to worry about anything in this box either way. I don't think it makes a difference because there's just one appointment slot. So when we publish that, then that will publish one appointment slot from 1 to 2, limited to 50 people, and then your students can go into the Canvas calendar and sign up for one of those 50 spots. And that way you're going to know before class starts how many people are planning on showing up. And if you're hitting that 50 seat maximum, there obviously will be some further considerations that you need to think about as far as equity, making sure that those slots are going to people in a fair way, that you don't have the same people taking up the slots every week. But if you're not hitting that maximum, for example, if you're offering 50 slots but only 20 or 30 are signing up each week, then that tells you that you only have a smaller portion of your students that are choosing that path, that are needing that kind of personal interaction, and so you don't need to worry. Maybe there is a person that is signing up every week, but as long as you're not hitting that maximum, it shouldn't be an equity issue. Another way you might think about using this tool is if you have a particular activity that you think is really valuable, and you would like to get a lot more students involved in that personal hands-on activity, um, then instead of using your entire class period, maybe you normally have a lecture section and a Q&A section, and then you have this particular activity that might take 20 minutes or so. Instead of using your entire hour here as one session, you could say, divide this up into equal slots of 20 minutes. And then when I hit go, you'll see that it takes that time from 1 o'clock to 2 o'clock, and it divides it into 3 equal 20-minute sessions. And now I can still limit, my room is still limited to 50% capacity, so I'm still limiting my room to 50 users, assuming my room holds 100 people. But now they can sign up for a slot, and I could put 150 people through this same activity because I'm just focusing on that activity. I'm going to run it 3 times. And so that would be another way of using this scheduler tool as a way of distributing class time and allowing students to sign up for or reserve a seat in your in-class sessions. Something to think about. Obviously, there are a lot of changing dynamics and things that we don't know still about fall, but this might be a tool that could bring some element of student choice and agency to your course, as well as giving you some a sense of who's going to show up. You go into class knowing how many people are there, and it might change the way people see it themselves. If they know that only 10 people have shown up, they can spread out more. If you've got 50 people showing up, you know that you need to kind of hit that minimum CDC distance. So something to think about, and a tool that everybody has available in Canvas.